Speaking of Russia, let's check in on Ukraine.
Fight for Ukraine. New world order.
This is one of the funniest things that I have heard in a while. Yeah. This is coming from Insider, businessinsider.com, which we know is connected to the intelligence apparatus. But the headline, they're kind of going full Daily Mail on some of these headlines.
They're starting to really turn into
super long sentences, full punctuation, stuff like that. It goes like this. Ukrainian hackers created fake profiles of attractive women to trick Russian soldiers into sharing their location, report says. Days later, the base was blown up. Now, this is fun, especially in the context. We took Putin's toy box was a report right before I left. We had Putin's toy box where it showed all his cool new toys, his war machines. And we commented on how entertaining it is that Russia is still in sort of a phase of, I don't know what, a phase of political
the 50s
correctness
or something, 40s and 50s in the US.
Yeah, where they, in order to sort of show off their tanks, they put like 12 long-legged, stilettoed, red-lipped models. Yeah, some like just blatantly sort of I don't know the word. It's just very, it felt
like
old-timey.
It's like trophy women or something for the country.
It felt folksy in a way. Yeah. Where you're like, yes, let's put some gorgeous blondes on our tanks to show them off. And so apparently this was a clue to the Ukrainian hackers. They just made some fake social media profiles of good-looking ladies and got some Russian soldiers to give away their location. Let's see what they have to say here. Ukrainian hackers set up fake accounts of attractive women to trick Russian soldiers into sending them photos. Oh, no. Oh, no. Isn't it interesting?
The Ukrainians catfished the Russians.
They were catfished the Russians. Oh, that's embarrassing. I mean, man. I love considering how like geopolitical wartime operations include getting Russian soldiers to send you. I'm assuming there were some lewd pictures sent from the front lines there. Yikes, the world we live in. Ukrainian hackers set up fake accounts of attractive women to trick Russian soldiers into sending them photos, which they located and passed to the Ukrainian military, the Financial Times reported. Even if they didn't blow up the base these soldiers were at, that's some serious psychological operations.
Yeah, it is.
Nikita Knish, a 30-year-old IT professional from Kharkiv, told the FT that when Russia's invasion began in February this year, he wanted to use his hacking skills to help his country. Hacking skills is a bit of a loose interpretation of catfishing, but I'll give it to him. He recruited other hackers and found a group nicknamed Hack Your Mom, which now consists of 30 hackers from, I love hackers, man. This is so fun. Hack Your Mom, the elite Ukrainian catfish squad. Hack Your Mom, which now consists of 30 hackers from across the country, he told FT. Last month, he said they duped Russian soldiers in Melitopol by creating fake accounts and pretending to be attractive women on several social media platforms, including Telegram. The hackers were able to get to know Russian soldiers and ultimately convince them to send photos of them on the front, Knish told the FT. Quote, the Russians, they always... there's a bad word in here.
There's a bad word.
Sorry about that, folks. I don't know how that got past us. The Russians, they're so randy, Knish told the FT, as paraphrasing. They send a lot of pictures to girls to prove they are warriors. Okay, this is a family show.
Live censorship.
Once the soldiers sent pictures, the hackers were able to identify that they had been taken from a remote Russian military base near occupied Melitopol in southern Ukraine, the FT reported. They transferred the information over to Ukraine's military, and several days later, the base was attacked. Kanish told the FT, quote, my first thought was, I am effective. I can help my country. Another team member on Hack Your Mom, identified only as Maxim, told the FT, quote, then I realized I want more of this. I want to find more bases again and again.
Oh my gosh.
Bloodthirsty.
Seriously.
Bloodthirsty catfish.
That is not healthy. That's like, if you're playing, that sounds like some kind of successful mission on some video game. And then like,
that is a patriot, Gons. How dare you?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Catfish for your country. I don't know if they go into it. Interestingly enough, just a good piece of information for anybody. When you take a picture on your phone, in the metadata is your GPS location.
Yeah.
There are several metadata eraser apps that you can use. I highly recommend anytime you are sending pictures of any kind to anybody, you should always erase your metadata off of those pictures, because there's a lot they can find out about you. Just a little tip from your buddy Basil. The Ukrainian online news site Ukrainian Pravda reported last month that there was an explosion at a large Russian military base in Melitopol, citing its mayor, Ivan Fedorov. Do you remember when Fitbit was giving away the geolocation of American soldiers?
Yeah, they were in their underground military bases.
And they were wearing their Fitbits and
giving away
broadcasting their location.
Yeah.
We thought that was embarrassing. This is another level. Insider was unable to independently verify the hackers' claims of involvement, and the armed forces of Ukraine did not immediately respond to Insider's request for comment. The FT said Ukrainian officials declined to discuss hackers' roles in the attack on that military base. Nobody wants to talk about it, Gons.
Except for Business Insider.
That's the thing about getting catfished, is it's so embarrassing, you don't even want to talk about it.
Well, they're not asking the catfished. They're asking the catfishers.
The catfishers.
They don't want to give away their secrets.
It is kind of giving away a bit of a...
But that's the whole point, is that they're like, nobody's saying anything except for you, Business Insider, writing an entire article about it.
Right. And again, Business Insider having some interesting intelligence connections. There is a chance that this entire story is some sort of propaganda. Does not mean that it's true or untrue. It could be either.
I think they're maybe recruiting more digital talents for the country's IT army.
Hey, if it's as easy as that, if hacking is as easy as creating a fake profile, then who knows? Russia's invasion of Ukraine has prompted an unprecedented cyber war, with hackers on both sides launching attacks. At the beginning of the invasion, Ukraine's digital minister asked civilians with digital talents to join the country's IT army. During Russia's Victory Day military celebrations in May, major Russian television channels were hacked to display anti-war messages. Kanish told the FT that his team had participated in other hacks, including leaking the databases of Russian military contractors and tricking Russian TV stations into playing news clips about Ukrainian civilian casualties. Quote, for me, this felt like combat, Kanish told the FT. Quote, with no money, with no brilliant software, and even no brilliant hacks, you can use fraudsters, the dark web, against your enemy. And, this fits in with a lot of the themes that we followed over the months. This show has a lot of this episode has a lot of returning to some of these topics that we had been analyzing from a few months ago. So it's kind of fun to revisit these things. And one of them is the cyber war. We all imagine hacking and cyber war to be some guy with glasses wearing a black hoodie in a secret underground military base with hacking the satellite, controlling the laser beam or the spy satellite. And what we've loved following and reporting on and analyzing is just how the regular internet that we are all on as we speak, that when you check your Facebook, it is not just Facebook. it is a literal war zone. It is a place where geopolitical casualties, of course, the blood is not shed on Facebook, but it does lead to bloodshed. And it's a very strange world that we live in. And so when we talk about, this brave new world where cyber war is happening all around us, I think it's important that we keep in mind it's not a very abstract concept.
No,
it's actually incredibly real and incredibly relevant to all of our experiences on a daily basis.
Yeah, the Milley speech at West Point about suburban warfare, it kind of goes into that concept of, hey, everybody is a soldier in this war, and especially if you're on a device, there's factions and everything else, and this is an example of that, where just anybody can sort of use the dark web and use techniques of various kinds to
you barely even need the dark web.
No, you don't need the dark web, but it makes it sound fancy. But this really does.
You just need a Tinder account.
The sentiment of that guy who was like, "Oh, I did it once and I want to do it again." That addictive sort of thing, that dopamine hit that this guy had, is very much part of the, if you want to call it like an Ender's Game type of deal, where just kind of a Call of Duty. You're just playing online. You're just playing fun war games online, but it's got real world consequences, and that's the world we live in now. So it's just very much an example of how warfare looks today. And some would even argue, it's one of those, was Alex Jones right about, it's an information war,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, if InfoWars wasn't what it is,
if it wasn't InfoWars,
it would just literally be the name of a type of warfare.
Yeah.
And indeed, I think it still can be the name of it.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting when you're talking about the adrenaline rush, the addiction, because you very much see it in some, not all, or perhaps not even many, but some, people who've seen combat. There's movies, there's stories, there's real experiences where people find some sort of addiction to combat and make a career out of it, make a lifelong sort of addiction out of it. And to see that that the same chemical response can happen in one of these fairly mundane acts of hacking is very interesting. Just something about.
You mentioned at the top, you shouldn't even call it hacking.
Well, it certainly isn't hacking in the way that people think of it. Yeah. The term hacking is a complicated one that never really meant what people consider it to mean.
It's not a technical hacking. It's more
it's kind of a colloquial term, hacking now. But anywho, very interesting. Another reminder that watch what you're doing on the internet, because it could have geopolitical warfare ramifications.
Yeah.